Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on Brotherhood Outdoors. It's been quite some time, since I've been on here regularly uploading, and I really do apologize for that, guys. I've just been on my other channel, which is Loud and Proud. Diesel Trucks is where I do a lot of my daily content now. It's just because it's a lot more productive, it's growing a lot faster, it's getting me a lot further, so that's just where I need to sow most of my time. I have noticed that the channel here on Brotherhood Outdoors, even though I haven't been posting, it's still been growing rapidly day by day, and in fact, it's actually been growing faster than it was back when I was posting. Somehow, I don't know how that happened, but basically when I left the channel, it started to grow faster and faster and faster. I don't know what happened, and maybe it's just, my videos just kind of sat out there and just kind of started to collect people and started to grow the channel. But anyways, I do want to say thank you all so much for stopping in and watching the videos. If you have not yet, please subscribe. I would love to have you guys join. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my hunting setup. What I like to say would be like obviously there's going to be people who are going to argue it every direction, but the best hunting setup you can possibly get. I'll kind of get to what I'm saying by that. Here is my crossbow. This is the CenterPoint Sniper 370. A lot of you guys came to the channel for this particular bow. This is the CenterPoint Sniper 370, and 370 given it shoots roughly 370 feet per second. Given the equipment that you're using, the weight of the broadhead, the field point, or arrow, really just depends, or the bolt. Depends on whether or not you're actually going to get that 370 feet per second out of it. But basically, I'm just going to go through my setup, what I'm using, because a lot of guys have been asking, what are you using? What have you switched? Why haven't you, posted in a while? I just want to know if you're still using the same setup or, what's different. So basically, the setup that I'm using right now is obviously the bow, and I'm using Carbon Express Maxima red bolts. And these are a really good looking bolt. They've got the buff tough vanes on them, I think this is what they're called. And these bolts, they fly very true and they fly great. Out of this bow, I did some 150 yard shooting with these bolts, and they performed very, very well. And if you have not seen those videos yet, go check those out. I have done 150 yard shooting, 100 yard shooting using these bolts, and they performed amazing. They flew very true and they got the job done on camera. So if you guys want to go check those out, definitely go check them out. But basically that's what I'm shooting. Now if you guys are, let's say you're on a little bit more of a budget, I've been there too, to where you just can't afford to buy the best of the best, so to speak. And that's why you're watching, that's why you want to buy this crossbow. It's because you don't need to spend, and this isn't about guys, I guess, being on a budget and so you gotta go cheap. This is just for all people. I'm just trying to let you guys know, this is an amazing piece of equipment for the money. What you're gonna pay, you almost can't beat it, okay? So that's what I'm trying to get at. You can buy pile driver bolts, they're going to be probably about half as much. I'll leave links to Maxima red bolts and the Carbon Express pile drivers. If you are a little bit more on a budget and you're trying to be more conservative with your money, you can still shoot up to 40 yards with those, no problem. You'll have good accuracy out of them. If you didn't see the video on explaining why use 125 grain over 100 grain broadheads, that was a previous one, 100 grain versus 125 grain. Basically, I'm shooting Maxima red, Carbon Express Maxima red bolts, and I'm using a Nikon BDC 60, Bolt XR. This is a great freaking scope. I made a video on this called the best crossbow scope, the best scope for your Sniper 370. This scope is amazing. I was shooting like not 100 yards, I was shooting 80 yards with this scope, and it was performing incredibly. I was super pleased with it, and I would highly recommend it. So what I'm going to try to do for you guys, because anybody can just talk and say, oh, it's a good scope and it works and it's whatever, but I'm going to go through basically shooting this bow with these bolts, with this scope, and then I'll show you how this scope here works, and basically so you guys can get set up for your deer season. I know it's right around the corner. There's a lot of guys who are still scrambling, trying to figure out what kind of equipment they want to go with, what crossbow, what scope setup. So I'm just trying to help you guys out the best you can to make sure you guys have a very enjoyable and successful time out in the field without having to break the bank. Let's get to it right now. I'm going to get the target set up and just make sure I get this. I'm going to take a couple shots just to make sure it's sighted in. Since I have increased from 100 to 125 grain field point, then I'm going to work it back and kind of get back there and just show you a couple shots up in the distance, just to kind of show you guys just how accurate this crossbow really is. Well, right now I'm actually going to shoot the crossbow here. Try to make sure I have a good idea as to how fast it's shooting right now, because with this crossbow scope, as I'll show you in just a minute, you want to make sure that all your numbers are pretty spot on, so you can have the most accuracy possible when it comes to even close range and further distances. You don't want to have anything in question as to the speed and all the other stuff, the velocity. So I'm going to right now take a shot here. It's shooting 342. See there? Yeah, 342. I figured it was shooting pretty darn close to 350, so I put down on my phone that it was shooting, the velocity was 350 feet per second, because I just assumed that it's supposed to shoot 370. However, I am shooting a heavier bolt and a heavier field point right now, so that little bit of added extra weight is going to make the speed difference. I don't think some people realize how much different the speed can be, which is going to, in the end result, change where your bolt placement is going to be out in those further distances, just by adding even 25 grains. So shooting from 75 grain to 100 grain, 100 grain to 125 grain, there's going to be a huge difference. Even if it's not a very big difference, it's going to be just enough to affect accuracy out into those further distances. So you just got to really make sure you're watching that. Just because, like I always like to say, you're not shooting at your expense. You're shooting at the expense of the animal and the animal's well-being. So if you're not shooting to the best of your ability, to your the equipment, using it to the best of its ability by making sure everything's proper, you're really just setting yourself up for a bad day in the woods. So I always like to make a good rule of thumb, just make sure everything's pretty spot on, just make sure you are shooting at the highest potential that you can be. So what we're going to be doing right now is going to be taking a shot here. I just took a shot at 30. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't right on because I was focusing more on making sure I didn't shoot the chronograph there, but it was about an inch high. So I'm going to go get my bolt, move it back a little bit further, and get some shots on target for you. We are set up at 47 yards, and I'll explain why the yardage is what it is when we are finished here, but we are at 47 yards. Let's try to aim for that center dot there. I have found that the crossbow is consistently a little bit over an inch high at all of my ranges so far, so I'm going to make a slight adjustment and then try again. That right there looks like it was much better. Let's go take a look. Coming up on the target here, like I said, with the very first shot, consistently the exact same up and down, but I was noticing that it was about an inch and a half. Looked like an inch and a half through the scope. Turns out it was about 2.5 inches. It was consistently about 2.5 inches high at 20 yards, 31 yards, and now 47 yards. And like I said, I'll get back and explain why the distances are not just 20, 30, 40, 50 like a cookie cutter system, and that it is precise to this crossbow. So I'm going to go take take the block back a little bit further here. Like I said, this is the first shot. Then I told you I needed to make an adjustment, so I turned my knob to get it down at 2.5 inches at 47 yards. I turned it 8 clicks, and that got that down right in the money. So we are going to move the block over just a little bit further, and then we are going to take another shot. But that was about 50 yards, right on the money. Now we're at 61 yards. 61 yards, guys. I mean, that's a pretty hefty shot. So let's see. I think with the Nikon Bolt XR and the velocity of the Sniper 370, this should be a chip shot. So let's see. 61 yards. That looks like it was dead center. 61 yards. Well, everybody, we are now backed up to 68 yards. Like I said, we did awesome at 47 after the adjustment. Hit it smack in the center. 61, we hit smack in the center. Let's see if we can do the same at basically 70 yards. Let's take one more shot. Let's go see how we did. Well, here is the 68 yards, or 68 yards because I don't have a rangefinder, but this is 68 yards. Here's the target that I was aiming for, and nonetheless that was about 2.5 inches up, and it was about a 2-inch group at 68 yards. Not my best group for the distance, but usually I have a rangefinder on me, so right now, unfortunately, I have no idea whether that's 68 or 68 or 65 or 75. Like, I have no idea. So my guess is this might be a little bit closer than 68. I tried to walk it off like usually a step is roughly, depending on your steps, but roughly about a yard. So I just walked it out 68 steps, but my strides may have been a little over or a little less. I mean, I don't know, but overall that is not too bad. If we set the target back 4 more yards, maybe 4 more steps that way, maybe that would make the distance, that would make it hit right on. But nonetheless, what you're looking for is consistency, okay? Consistency is what you want to see. It doesn't matter if you can hit the target if your crossbow is not consistent and you can't do it every time. So if it was spot on, the yardage was spot on. I mean, a 2-inch group, 1.5 inches really, not, 2 inches might be a little bit of a stretch. 1.5 inch group at 70 yards, give or take. just barely high, just a little bit. I mean, that is not bad. I mean, I was way over there, sitting there. Didn't even have a bench either. I was just shooting off the back of a chair, but nonetheless, that's pretty good. Well, there's the 370, and like I said, guys, this scope here, this scope was about $150 on Amazon. I will try to leave a link for you guys in the description below for sure. The crossbow itself was about 275 bucks, give or take. Depends on the time of year you buy it. Now that season's closer, it's up about 15 bucks from normal, but I mean, let's be honest, that's still a really good deal. I mean, under $300 for an outstanding piece of equipment. You're looking at about $275 for the crossbow, $150 for the BDC 60 Bolt XR Nikon scope. For less than 425 bucks, I mean, for under $500, basically 425 bucks, you've got a steal of a deal. You got an outstanding shooting piece of equipment with a quality scope. It's not just some package crossbow for 425 bucks. You're getting the crossbow, and then you're going to buy the scope. The scope that came with it is fine. It'll definitely get the job done, that's for sure. But if you are into precision accuracy at further distances like I am, not that you're going to shoot 70 yards at a deer because that's not, you know, too ethical, you can definitely get the job done with this crossbow and the scope. It's just a deadly combination. Now, what I'm going to try to do for you guys really quick, I'm going to put the camera on the tripod here and show you on my phone exactly, you know, what Nikon Spot On is. So you got that crossbow scope, right? So here is the app that you're going to use. It's called, if I'm going to go back here, it's called Spot On. This is what it looks like in the App Store, right there. You can click on that, and basically you select the scope that you went with, and it's Bolt XR. So you got the Bolt XR. Sorry, try to keep it up here so you guys see. Bolt XR 3x32. That's the scope that I have, and then you go to your bolt setup. You know, field point weight and all that stuff. You're looking, and I just select the bolt that I have. All the weights are already figured into the app itself. Carbon Express Maxima 20-inch bolt. Select your bolt length and the bolt model. Put in your grains, 125, which is what I'm shooting. I just took my speed test and I was shooting 342 feet per second. You say done, apply, fire it. And then what you get is basically your 0, which would be 20 yards typically. You got 20 yards 0. Your next dot down would be 31. Your one after that would be 47. Under that would be 61. Your last dot would be 68 yards if you're shooting the same setup as me. When I was shooting 100 grains and I was shooting pow driver bolts, my last dot was 78 yards. So it'll be different depending on the setup that you've got in terms of weight and velocity and all that stuff. This will apply to any crossbow though. If you buy a Nikon scope and you want to use this app, just put in all the same information and it'll figure it out for you. Overall, guys, that is probably going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this is a very good piece of equipment, very good looking, very good performing piece of equipment for $275. It just cannot be beat. There's going to be some people that could argue that, but in my opinion, you've got an outstanding piece of equipment for $275, along with the $150 Nikon Bolt XR scope. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, do not forget to leave a like on it. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below if you guys would like to pick up a BHO hat. It really does help me out a lot. This is what I'm doing as my livelihood, is my 2 YouTube channels, so I really do appreciate all the support. It really does make a difference, and I really am thankful for it. So definitely check out the links below for the crossbow. That helps me out a ton as well. Thank you guys so much. If you could show the support, really much appreciate it. Leave a like on the video, comment below, subscribe if you have not, and I will catch you in the next video. One thing I forgot to mention in this video, guys, that you should probably know is that I am shooting Montec 125 grain Montec broadheads this season. They are a very deadly broadhead, very capable. They fly true, very durable. You can use them multiple times, and just sharpening them on a simple sharpening stone. So if you guys are into a devastating and effective long-range broadhead, definitely check out the Montecs. I will leave a link to those in the description below for you guys to check out. Take care. Have a great day.